Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Flash Zellow, fiction done fast. Oh, we already have 3 people. Okay. It occurred to me to try and do that thing where it says, oh no, the audio's going, oh no! It's fine. It's fine. Oh shit! Oh no! Oh dear. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Come on. Happy Halloween! You know, there might be a metaphor in all of this. Anyways, so this is my, it's not quite a costume. Well, I mean, it's a cloak. I made this for costume construction back in college when I was studying theater. And, it's all messy. Alas. It's so messy. It's so tangled. So, for anyone who reads fantasy, this is supposed to be Mistborn cloak. There we go. The way I made it was, well, obviously I made a cloak and then shredded it, but I kept the inner lining unshredded until down here at the very bottom. And the purpose of that was every time I saw one of these in cosplay, they shredded all of it. They shredded all of it, and as a result, anytime you tried to do anything swooshy, you ended up kind of looking more like a plucked chicken. At least that's how I interpreted it. Okay, I don't want to roll over the cloak. But yeah, happy Halloween! Welcome back! Oh, this is fine. Nope, still can't get the chair to work. It's fine, it's fine. Oh, man! Yeah, I don't tend to go super hard on costumes. There we go. Chat's popping up now. I don't tend to go super hard on costumes. I tried to explain this to little druid last night while I was half asleep, so I'm sure that made total sense, but no. I have a hard time thinking of a good costume, and then I kind of beat myself up about it. So I just end up throwing together whatever I have in the closet at the last second. But considering the hour last night, I'm pretty sure everything I said was a lot sadder. Anyways. How's it going? Yeah, okay, where was I? Yes, I decided to try to do the thing where it says, streaming soon. That way I don't have to be on right away. And I would have time to get everything ready and organized. And then I didn't. Come on, you give me an inch, I will lie on the floor and think about my choices. Oh, the intro screen looked good? That's good, because I made it in 10 minutes. Oh, speaking of Scarlet Fury, your boy just texted me and said Happy Hallows Eve, so everybody's in the spooky season. Spooky. I'm here. I'm ready. So actually today is going to be kind of wild because Wait, sneeze, maybe? There might be more. Okay, I think we're good. Another one might be brewing. Might sneak up on me, but I think we're alright. So, I thought, since I was running a little bit low on prompts, I sent out my patented Bernie, I am once again asking for your dank, what did I call it? Juicy prompts. And because I said Halloween, I got a ton. So I'm if I do 8 stories a week, I now have over 20. Okay, so I have 26. Basic math. What's that? 3 weeks? Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm not great at math, but I am better at math than I trust myself to be, if that makes sense. I had so much trouble in school that even when I'm like, yeah, no, that's basic math. I know how this works. I freak a little bit, and I'm like, gotta check the calculator. But yeah, 3.25 weeks worth of prompts now, thanks to Halloween. We're gonna still be doing spooky stories up to Thanksgiving at this point, but I fucking love it. You guys are so creative. I like it. Like, even the ones where, no offense, Scarlet Fury, but the ones where you're just like, and then a thing! And then a thing! It's like, there's still something there to it, and I like that. So, also, I was almost late, but then I wasn't. It feels like I was late because I was just sitting there staring at a screen that said stream coming soon, going, yeah, I got everything set. But I was at my old college campus, and because they have the cheapest prints in town, and I got this printed. It's a series of articles from a writer that I like. Talking about, he does a lot of like kind of he calls it transgressive fiction, but it's kind of horror, kind of punk, I guess. And as I'm going into editing my novel, I wanted to have a couple of resources. I've got one from now Richard Thomas. I've got one from Craig Clevenger, and one from Chuck Palahniuk. Chuck Palahniuk being the guy who wrote, Fight Club. He wrote Fight Club. Oh, you're fine with story creation. I feel like I've done more of your prompts than almost anyone at this point, and like, it's not some magical ability, it's... I feel like, since I'm wearing a Brandon Sanderson-inspired costume and a Neil Gaiman shirt, oh man, I really am a fantasy writer. I'm very creative in problem solving, though. Creating a problem to be solved is hard. That's fair. There's something Brandon Sanderson likes to talk about when he wrote Mistborn. And I've heard this described by a bunch of different writers, is it's two ideas colliding into a third thing. So in the case of Mistborn, Brandon Sanderson had 2 different ideas. One was, wouldn't it be fun to do a story, like, he was watching Harry Potter, I think is how the story goes. He was watching Harry Potter and he was thinking, man, these Dark Lords, they get a bad rap, or like the bad luck. And he thought, wouldn't it be funny if you went through this whole story and, Frodo carries the ring to Mount Doom and Sauron's just like, oh shit, I've been looking for that. Thanks. Takes the ring, kicks Frodo into the fire. Or the same with, Harry Potter is like, alright, yeah, no, you're 17 years old, and I'm the Dark Lord, and then just kills Harry and takes over the world. And he was like, okay, probably a bit of a downer ending, people would probably not love that. And then he had an entirely different idea, which was, he was watching Ocean's 11, I think, and thinking, man, you don't see a lot of heist films. Like, he loves heist films. You don't see a lot of them in fantasy. I should work on something like that. And what he ended up doing was a story where 1,000 years ago, the Dark Lord won, which was the first idea, and in the present day, it's about a group of thieves pulling a heist on the Dark Lord. So, a big part of storytelling or story ideas is just kind of saying, I wonder what happens if I take this and I put it with that. And yeah. I just think it's kind of interesting combos, right? And seeing where those things kind of spiral out. I wrote, a fantasy novel, and I wrote an epic fantasy. It was epic fantasy. It was a little bit short for epic fantasy. It was like 92,000 words. For point of reference, the novel I'm working on right now is about 153,000, so I don't know if you can... I lost visual. But yeah, 153,000 words. And that story kind of had two things that I thought made it unique in terms of fantasy. Is one, the biggest thing is how small scale it was. It's this big epic fantasy, save the world, but it's almost like doing epic fantasy on a television show budget. It's an episode of Supernatural or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? And as a result, you've got this big epic fantasy where the characters go to hell and they go to the capital city and they find these ancient ruins and all this stuff happens. But the very first act of the book takes place in one bar. And it's a bar with an inn above, so a couple of the rooms up above, and then a bit out on the street. And when I say the first act, what that means is the first quarter of the novel, 1/4 of the novel, it just takes place in this small town bar and inn, involving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. So it's got a bit of a kind of a Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight, where it's like a play. You've got one small location and a limited number of characters, and it's just letting the tension ramp up and ramp up and ramp up, and then finally when things, it's like Tarantino describes tension like a rubber band. Once that snaps, then everything kind of launches. Hopefully with that. Potential energy? What word am I looking for? I don't really know where I'm going with that. But, and the other side of it was, because I knew I was telling this really small, kind of intimate story, the big focus on the story really isn't on the saving the world, it's on the kind of family relationships between the characters, which, again, is very like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Supernatural. So, it's there's kind of a trick to looking at something you've seen before and saying, okay, well, but what if add this ingredient to the meal and see what you suddenly get. And that's one of the things I've been trying to do with these prompts, and you've actually gotten to watch some of this happen, is, the prompt is one half of it, and then it's, okay, well, what do I bring to it? What ideas do I have? So it's, I'm trying to think excuse me. I mean, this was the first one that really hit me in any kind of, an exciting way, was number 3. A Town in Quarantine for 20 Years is finally released. And I was like, okay, well, there's almost the obvious next step, which is, and then you get to follow the characters or this town re-enter society, right? But, the story I actually wrote is about a town that says, oh, no, just close the doors, we're fine. It's been 20 years, just keep the outside world out. Yeah, and I like that aspect of, okay, well, because some of these are pretty straightforward, and there's not a lot of different directions I can take it and be true to the prompt in question, and that's fine. The carving a jack-o'-lantern, guy doing a surgery. There's not a lot of places I could take that. It's a very, I almost want to call it dense. It's a dense prompt, so I feel like to stay true to the heart of the cards. No, that's the wrong thing. But to stay true to it, I just had to write what was there. Other things like the last ramen shop in Brooklyn, I got to go wildly off course, and do something, very different. So, yeah. I mean, even just the other day, this one, number 27, the dragon lost in his cave trying to find his hoard. It doesn't really specify what the hoard is, so I decided, what if, what I was actually thinking is there's a Facebook artist who does a bunch of really cute dragons, and that's all I could think of was this, very adorable dragon just, bumbling around his own cave trying to find a library, because that's his hoard. His hoard is books. Not that I would know anything about that. I need a bigger house with more bookshelves, y'all. This will end up being the whole reason. It's I'm gonna make a Patreon. I'm gonna make it so you guys can send me money, but it's just because I'm out of space for books. It's a real problem. We are getting very close to maximum density. A house made of bookshelves. Yes. Yeah, that works. I'll take it. Okay. I have puttered about for long enough. I'm going to read through the prompts that we've got, and there's quite a few of them, so I probably should have started sooner, but fuck it. That's what... fuck it. Alright. Post-apocalypse 2097, and radiation has evolved animals to gain heightened brain capabilities. Lone survivor has to navigate through a cityscape overrun by radiated raider animals. The story of a French omelette from start to finish from the perspective of the egg. An exploration of class warfare and inequality that takes place night in the museum style in a big furniture outlet store between sentient pieces of furniture. No humans allowed. Think Snowpiercer, but in an RC Willy. Eggplant. Furious. Catastrophe. A monk sworn to poverty comes across a giant hoard of gold. He could see through her eyes, every night. They'd never met, not officially, but in passing, he knew of her. What time she went to the corner store nearby, her favorite drink, her name. And as he slept, he saw more, beyond the daily nothings, her real life. He'd always thought there had to be a reason she never smiled. Now he knew why. A girl who doesn't age has known her friends too long. Are they getting suspicious, she wonders. How much time before they discover her? Happy Spooky Day! Ari suggests, last night I coughed up an eyeball, and I'm seconding that. There we go. This is my friend's roommate, I think. So my choice comes down to a zombie or vampire. I don't know which I'd rather. I have questions about that one, mostly because I'm my choice comes down to a zombie or vampire. I don't know which I'd rather. And I don't know if they purposely wrote it super vague, because it's to be killed by, to be turned into, to... Is this is this would you rather? Is it fuck, marry, kill? Is it zombie, a vampire, or Steve? Oh my god, I have to write this now. This has got to be a dating show. Oh my god. I hope everyone else is as amused by that idea as I am. Sorry, I needed a good giggle today, apparently. It doesn't matter. The answer is always vampire. Well, hey, look. I feel like you're giving Steve the short end of the... any verb, it's vampire. That's okay. You know, hey. Again, you're giving Steve the short end of the stick here. Okay, a Halloween version of a snowman, a scarecrow instead of a snowman with pumpkin head that comes to life. I don't know if this person has seen Return to Oz, but I'm having all kinds of fun flashbacks. Anyways. Has anyone in the chat seen Return to Oz, the 1985 sequel to Wizard of Oz? Because, oh my god. Okay. A group of werewolves actually trying to get to the moon. I fucking love this one. That sounds great. I don't know if I can... Some of these ideas I'm like, this is so good, I need to take at least a day to sit on it. So I can come at it with the best eyes, but... Witches have their own kind of trick-or-treating, but instead of sweets, it's spells. I love it. A virgin lights a black candle and releases... He did message. 3 trapped witches. A child dies and haunts a house, but nicely. A team of rejects and their dog solve mysteries in their van. I don't know if Totes a Zombie is in the chat, but, you know... Shout out to your 3 oddly familiar prompts. You sound... I think I've heard some of these before. But you know what they say, there's nothing new under the sun, so... Okay. A kid goes trick-or-treating with his friends, but doesn't end up with any candy because he didn't just dress up as a ghost, he is a ghost. Let's see. There was an edit on that one as well, from Lil Druid. I'm straight up stealing this from Tumblr, lol, but a vampire is in an ancient history museum and sees on display a love letter addressed to them from one of their longtime friends, another vampire. They then confront their friend with something along the lines of, "God damn it, Clarence, why didn't you say something?" I don't know why the vampire sounds like this, but this is what the vampire sounds like. Just all the time. Yes, I would like a quarter pounder with cheese! Damn it! Now we get into some of the, you know what? Okay. An OBGYN tries to abort the Antichrist, but it's not so easy. So we're just diving right into, like, if you look up things not to talk about at Thanksgiving dinner with your family, it's just going to be this prompt. A Fantastic Voyage or inner space type scenario, but instead inside the body of someone being taken over by John Carpenter's The Thing. And then Night of the Living Halloween Candy. Actually, this is a fair moment. Sound off in the chat if you are so inclined. Should I attribute these prompts to people? Some of you are in the chat, so you have usernames. I could probably reach out and ask the others if they would want to be attributed. Just because sometimes there's a feeling of, like, if you've been watching the stream long enough, there's almost that, like, oh, this is so, Scarlet Fury or Shakespeare. Do you prefer 9? Because in my brain, it's just Shakespearex. Shakespearex. Or it's Roman numerals. I don't know. When I like my prompts blowing back on me. So we're definitely labeling Shakespearex prompts. No one can track you down. There's 5 to 6 of us. You're fine. Besides, you willingly wrote about a ficus. It's old and changing soon, but I hardly remember you before this. Anyways. We We don't talk about the ficus. Shakespeare's. Were you actually here for the bearded cabbie story? Fuck it, I'm outing you. Shakespeare's is the bearded cabbie in question from the bearded cabbie story. Ha ha! Take that! All 5 of these people that you probably already know! You're welcome. Definitely probably the worst story I wrote. It was just in jokes. Nobody else had a clue what was going on. Did you actually read it? I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. Like, fuck. Prompts all the way treated. Last Redditor. Oh, yeah, if you go to the blog, it's number 16, Drugs Are Bad. So go read that, and you're gonna, because now that I got you, you mother... No, now that I got you, you have to help me edit that so that it's not as bad. And I can't think of anybody who could do a better job of helping me edit that story than the Bearded Cabbie. Sorry, man. Again, we're all friends here. There's only a few of us. You're fine. You're fine. This is a safe space where I get to fuck with you. Okay. Where were we? Night of the Living Halloween Candy. That sounds fun too. A man takes his son trick-or-treating. All goes well until he begins to see a All goes well until he begins to see a distorted version of his imaginary friend from when he was a little boy. His son tells him that he himself has an imaginary friend and that he protects him from his father's. They become strongest on Halloween. That's fucking creepy. Like, I feel like I could see that as one of those, like, I mean, not entirely, but it almost has that feeling of, like, a parent posting something on social media of, like, so my daughter walked into my room at 3 o'clock in the morning and said the Peanuts are singing. You know, just something you're like, that's weird. Why are children fucking terrifying? It has that, like, kind of vibe. I like it. And then we've got a prompt from an entirely unknown person who is not in the chat and shall remain unnamed. He said, smirking like a bastard. Anyway, no, this is do you take tone prompts? Rather than a write me a story where X does Y, it's more of a write a piece that feels like this. And then it's a link. Hey, guess who yeeted her phone across the store and completely wrecked it and can't text or do anything now? Alex, oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the ditch my fiance, and I'm sorry. This is a sad day. You've had that phone for a very long time. Can I ask how you ended up yeeting it across the room? I'm just curious. Like, was it, an aggressive, like, you saw something on your phone that was bad and you hucked it? Because, I mean, I've done that. Or, like, tried to pull it out and launched it by accident. And I've done that, too. Okay, I'm sorry, hon. I'm going to go back to reading these. There's so many to get through. And I have things to say about all of them. We're going to be here forever. Which is fine with me. So yeah, the tone prompts, and it's a link, and that's... I wonder if I can... There was a way before to do a thing. I don't know how to do it. It's fine. So, that's one that I'm learning on the mandolin currently, and I thought it had a kind of misty Halloweeny vibe. Also, it's just one of my favorite songs in general. So, Twitch is just a loading icon, so I missed anything you said in the last minute. Great! Okay. So we're going to see if we can open this and... Okay. I might just say, wow. Alright. So I don't know exactly how Twitch does this. It blocked out, I had some copyright music playing the other day at the beginning of the stream, but it took like a minute or two for it to actually like unblock it. But yeah, that was, I mean, I love Irish Celtic music. I used to have Celtic Woman's something Journey was the title, but it was they performed at a castle. Absolutely fantastic concert. This was 15-ish years ago. So, but yeah, let's see. More like write a piece that feels like this. And then this is the one I'm learning on the mandolin currently, and I thought it had a kind of misty Halloweeny vibe to it. Also, it's just one of my favorite songs in general. I mean, not a bad choice. It's a damn pretty song. I don't actually remember. I used to know some of the cultural history of Halloween. Bring me back to the hills of the Isle. On river run, past Eve and Adam, by swerve of shore and bend of bay, we arrive by commodious vicus of recirculation to Howth Castle and environs. That's for you. I would actually, for this one, I'd almost want to do a bit of actual research before I write one of these about some of the history of Halloween. I believe it's spelled Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain, I think. Because with a soundtrack like that, thinking misty and Halloweeny vibes, Halloween does have some Irish history, right? Am I making that up? Is Halloween Irish? Yeah, it was a Celtic festival. Okay, so there's something to that, actually. I'm probably not going to try and tackle that today, but that just means that Shakespeare X has to come back later. Not that this is Shakespeare X's prompt. Why would you think it was Shakespeare X's prompt? Shakespeare X doesn't want their prompts to bite them in the ass. Anyways. Okay. Something QAnon related, because Satanism. Woo! I don't give out prompts. Oh shit, is this like a like, do I owe you something for these now? Since you don't give them out, do I owe you like my soul or my fiance? You can have my fiance's phone. How about that? That's what you get in trade for your prompts. Okay. Satanism and QAnon. That sounds fun. Deal! Okay. Like, a group of friends, like, oh my god, like, wow, what a prompt. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Okay. Like, a group of friends are snowed in the Rocky Mountains when a snowshoeing trip goes wrong. Their food is spoiled unusually fast and they keep smelling something foul. Cue Wendigo mayhem? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? There's a little bit of, oh gosh, Until Dawn. Yeah. Which I've never gotten to play. I've watched some playthroughs online. Markiplier specifically. I liked what I saw. I wasn't as thrilled by their follow-up Man of Medan, but I know they came out with another one just recently, within the last week or two. So it's an interesting game style. But yeah, I actually really liked Until Dawn. One of those warts and all kind of situations, just because I love those kinds of stories. Let's see. You're hopelessly lost walking through the woods. It's dark and no one else is around. Then out of the corner of your eye, you see him. Shia LaBeouf. Again, kind of like some of, that's Dune Harper. And kind of like some of Totes the Zombies prompts. That sounds familiar. I think I know that one. Alright, maybe a man carrying one half of a locket all his life, supposedly destined to find his true love. He goes through hell, adventuring, hunting, intriguing, until he becomes an older man. On a cool day, he finds a nice, quiet spot and ponders on his decisions over his locket. And then, I don't know, a dog trots up with the other half as its collar tag. I think that's cute. That's cute. Okay, so we had 26 prompts to go through. Apparently all I had to do was say, hey, give me prompts for Halloween, and you guys just... Oh, so good. I love it. And there's so many good ones, and they're so different. And none of them came from Shakespeare X, as we already established. Ugh. Okay, there's so many to choose from. Okay. If I'm doing two, and we've already been streaming for quite a while because I've been chatty today, but you guys have been chatty with me, and I really like that. Okay. Zombie or vampire? Okay, so there's the dating show one. This is just an episode of Supernatural mixed with Return to Oz, which is terrifying. The astronaut werewolves, I like that. Mecha Wolf can make a return. No, we're not doing it. Witches have their own kind of trick-or-treating. It's really cute. You know what? Since it is strictly, it is Halloween today for those who, for some reason, are watching this in the future. We're gonna do I think we're going to do the trick-or-treating one. That feels appropriate. And I do have an idea or two for that. We could do the night of the Halloween, but... yeah, okay. Okay. We'll start here, and then we'll move on to the next one. We'll make a choice when we get there. How about that? So, how are you guys, other than Cass Loves Music, destroying her phone, how you guys liking, fuck. How's your guys' Halloween going? You know? You guys doing alright? And this... it's the scariest Halloween I've ever been through. I can't remember who I said this to this morning. It's the spookiest Halloween ever. I'm terrified to go outside. Or answer my door. So... also, just while I'm here, you know, I've been trying to come up with titles for these stories. And the Lovecraftian one we wrote yesterday came up with, "That is not dead, which can eternal lie down and rethink my life." I didn't need... it doesn't matter, but I liked it. That made me happy. It sparked joy. It's just my kind of dumb. 33 and 34. Okay. So, we've got a kid goes trick-or-treating with his friends, but doesn't end up with any candy because he didn't just dress up as a ghost. He is a ghost. So... whoops, I did that wrong. That's not the crisis, that's not the catastrophe, that's the crisis. Okay. So actually this really just kind of fits straight into... a lot of prompts I've noticed are introduction, but twist. Again, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about stories being two ideas in one kind of thing. Of like, you know, oh, there's a group of kids going trick-or-treating. Throw in this extra little thing. Also, we're going to try to fix this goddamn chair one more time. Nope. No luck. I just get to suffer. Bad lumbar support. Alright, there was no separating Will from his friends. Believe you me, his parents had tried, and Halloween was no different. Okay, how many friends are in this group? Are we doing the four-man? Is it going to be a four-man band? Sure. Let's see. So we've got Johnny. We've got... Man, I'm really bad at names. It truly is something that I struggle with. Or at least struggle... Okay, so we've got a Johnny, a Stevie... I don't want to do Joey. Okay, so Will, Johnny, Stevie, and Danny. And a Tommy. Sure. How about he's Stevie, and we make him Tommy? It wasn't... The minute I said Will, I was like... Will Byers. It's just Stranger Things. Okay. What are these kids dressed as? He's gonna be a ninja. Tommy... Cowboy, and Danny is a pirate. Those feel like the most stereotypical Halloween costume. The fucking. This is a ninja ducking. How about we call him Stevie Hawkins? We'll keep the little bit of reference to Stranger Things. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna. My brain does this thing where it switches gears and stuff. But if Cass Loves Music is still in the chat, do you think down the street, the computer shop down from the store, you think you could just get down there and maybe they could look at your phone and maybe they could be able to get it running? I don't. Anyways, I'm just gonna go back to writing, but I wanted to put that out there because it just popped into my head that they might be able to fix it. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but figured I'd throw it out there. Anyways, back to the story. Okay, so he's a ghost who's not getting any candy. But he's with his friends, so his friends are going to try and cheer him up. Okay. Hey, we still got a fair number of people hanging around. Sorry I went kind of quiet there. I'm trying to be better. I go through phases where I'm really talkative while I'm writing the story or not, and it's just kind of up to the story. Okay. I like how that turned out. I'm also desperately trying to remember who gave me this particular prompt. I think this was... Okay, yeah, this was Little Druid. That's what I thought. Okay. So, Little Druid, here be ye story. There was no separating Stevie from his friends. Believe you me, his parents had tried. And Halloween was no different. Johnny was dressed up as a ninja with blue lightning, made of foam, up and down his arms, ducking from one bush and shrub to the next. Tommy was sauntering beside him as casual as a 12-year-old cowboy could be, tipping his hat to everyone they passed. Danny had a big fake beard, eye patch, hook hand, and a parrot that kept falling off his shoulder. He yelled "Avast!" and "Matey" as often as he could, just in case. And that left little Stevie Hawkins to bring up the rear, as he usually did. Any other year, his ghost costume would have been good enough to win the first place prize at school. Not this year, though. This year, not a single head turned to look at little ghostly Stevie Hawkins. Door after door, he shouted his best, "Trick or treat!" and thrust his bucket out and turned to show off his efforts. And every single time, he was ignored. Grown-ups just couldn't see ghosts, he guessed, after another failure. "Hey, Stevie, you can have some of my candy if you want," Johnny said, sitting on the curb, trying to catch his breath after a particularly harrowing dash between bushes. "You know, if you want." Stevie kicked a rock, but it passed straight through his shoe. "No," he said. "I didn't even really want candy. I guess..." He trailed off, staring at his translucent hands. "I guess I just wanted them to see me." "Hey, don't worry about it," Danny said, struggling to attach his fake parrot to his shoulder. "We see you." "He's right. He's still got us," Tommy assured him. Stevie found himself nodding skeptically. It was only a matter of time before his friends would forget about him, too. Ooh. Before they moved on. Before they grew up. Then he'd be completely alone. Unless, he thought to himself, brightening at the idea, unless they were ghosts, too. Ooh. Neat. I like it. I like how that turned out. What do you think, Little Druid? Is it everything you hoped it would be? And more? Sad little story of Stevie Hawkins planning and plotting to murder his friends so that he's not alone. I feel like there's a bit of a Goosebumps. Oh dear. Huh. I feel like I've read a Goosebumps story that's not entirely dissimilar to that, but it's been since the 4th grade since I read Goosebumps, so those memories are very, very, very deep. So, whoops, I hit the wrong button. It's fine. Oh no! You okay, Little Druid? It's not quite the reaction I was... Oh, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. I am but a conduit. Blame my muse. I don't immediately have a title for this one, but there it is. It is up on the blog. No, it's good crying. Oh, well, I'm glad. That's, you know, Very spooky. Ooh, yeah. And again, you know, it's kind of one of those stories that I haven't gotten around to setting up anything for. I still like the idea of letting you guys vote on potential sequels if you want me to revisit one of these prompts and stories and see what kind of happens next. I still want to set up something like that. I just haven't taken the time to figure it out because life and Look, I'm a mess. We just have to accept it. You all know. You all know. Everyone here knows. You can look at me and go, yeah, no, that guy's a mess. He's trying his best. But no, I feel like this is a story that, like, this feels like, this does feel like a Goosebumps story, honestly. This feels like he's about to, like, start plotting how to murder them so that they all can be ghosts together. You know, because that's what you do when you're, like, 12 years old, right? Also, I forgot. I did come up with a title for that one, so we just added that and moved on. Okay. Whew. Alright. Well, still, we're going a little bit long today, but as long as you guys are down, I'm going to try and do one more. I just kind of see what jumps out. Happy Spooky Day. Ari suggests... Last night I coughed up an eyeball. Okay. Come down to zombie or vampire. I don't know which I'd rather. Okay. Some man with a pumpkin head that comes to life. A group of werewolves actually trying to get to the moon. So their own kind of trick-or-treating. Virgin light, da-da-da-da. Swam from da-da-da. Ooh, this one, I mean, this one seems very Halloween-y. This one feels very Halloween-y, and I don't know. I don't have any immediate ideas, so we're gonna kind of feel this one out. But it's about trick-or-treating. We got a couple that were about trick-or-treating. Or things that were more specifically like, this is very Halloween related. I think. There was like one other, right? Okay, Halloween version of Snowman, which is their own trick-or-treating. Some movies that we're mostly fans of. Night of the Living Halloween Candy is the one I was thinking of. I feel like Night of the Living Halloween Candy is just something that I have to take to a weirdly dark place. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's like, oh, it's a very silly prompt, but it just has to become like something like Critters, which I haven't seen since I was a little kid, which there's some questionable parenting choices at work in that. But no, this one feels like it's just the one that's calling to me. A man takes his son trick-or-treating. All goes well until he begins to see a distorted version. Okay, so a man is trick-or-treating with his son. Okay. Well, introduction. A man is trick-or-treating with his son, but complication. He begin... Okay. Okay, so the question I have to ask is, his son tells him that he himself has an imaginary friend and that he protects him from his father's. They become strongest on Halloween. So, anybody in the chat ever see Insidious? Oh, I didn't even notice. I don't know if you're gone, sorry. Scarlet Fury is down. Little Druid is gone. But I was gonna fare thee well. Goodbye. I didn't notice. I'm sorry. I believe it's if it's a costume, I think it is. It's a Witcher costume, and Little Druid's Witcher costume is fantastic. So good. Fucking theater kids. Don't judge me. Okay, so the question... So, the big question becomes... Yes? Is that towards... Oh, is it the Witcher thing? I'll ask if Lil Druid's cool with me forwarding a picture to you? Oh shit, I was playing guitar. So, Toad's a zombie. Missed the first part of the stream. Still streaming. So, what I was gonna say is, okay, so the question that's kind of inherent in this prompt is his son tells him that he himself has an imaginary friend and he protects him from his father's. Therefore, okay, it's... So the question is what harm? Because in the film Insidious, it's all about possession, and I don't know if that's the direction I want to go because it feels very close to Insidious, which granted I haven't seen the movie since I was like it was in theaters. I only saw it the one time. But it feels very close, and that makes me a little uncomfortable. But I think there's a direction I can take this. And I'm just trying to think of what... Sometimes I don't have an ending in mind when I start these. I mean, the last several, I had no idea where they were heading until I, got there. But this one feels like so much of it's kind of covered in the prompt that there's just kind of a question of, like, where does this end? So, we'll start here. A man is trick-or-treating with his son. But he begins to see a distorted vision of his imaginary friend from when he was a little boy. Also, I don't know... sound off in the chat. Did you guys ever have an imaginary friend? Because I didn't. Not that I recall, at least. No. Bebop, 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 bop. Bing bong. No bing bong for me. Fucking bing bong. Oop. Nice costume, Scarlet Fury. Fits with the name. Okay. Okay, so he begins to see imaginary friend. His imaginary friend from when he was a little boy. His son says that he too has an imaginary friend. I always identified him as such. So you were just like, hello, Mom and Dad, this is Toby. Toby is my imaginary friend. He is fictional and made up. Okay, I was actually really close. It was so I said what, Toby? It was Jake. I don't know. Jake is like a cool kid's name. Was your imaginary friend cool? Is that did was Jake ultimately replaced by Messenger? Is that how this works? You found yourself a parkour kid with a beanie and like a stoner haircut, and you were like, Jake, I no longer need you. I found a real boy who's kind of cool. Obviously nothing but love to both of you, but... You manifested him. You'll have to show me that trick sometime. Okay. Ookie-doo. Icky-dum. Okay. I need a name for these two. I need like a dad name. And unfortunately the only dad I know I used already for a different story for the last Redditor on Earth way back a couple weeks ago. How about Ryan? Dave? I just used Davey in the last story, so I'd rather avoid that. Scott. No, Scott's a very good name, but now it's just going to be one of my professors from school. Fucking delightful. He's fairly young. So he was probably like in his early 30s when he started teaching us. He was doing like stagecraft or script analysis and like theater history and stuff. And one day at a show, he was hanging out and he was talking with some students, and Cassie, who had already graduated and hadn't taken any of his classes, Cassie walks up and is just kind of hanging out because a lot of the students are still, she was still friends. They were her friends. And Scott turns and he goes, "And who are you? I don't think I know you." And she went, "I'm Cassie. I'm Shane's girlfriend." And his response was, "Zellow? You're Shane Zellow's girlfriend. Shane Zellow has a girlfriend. And you are her." I'm like, the fucking shade, Scott. How dare you? Greatest introduction, I think, of all time, and I've never... It's wonderful. So I may have to go with Scott. Shane Zellow has a girlfriend, and you're her. Just can't. I can't even. Okay. So we're gonna go with Scott. And then how about Jake? We're gonna take Shakespeare X's imaginary friend Jake and make him a real imaginary character. Take that. What are you gonna do about that? What are you gonna do about that, son? Oh, this stream has gone too long. I'm completely losing the thread. Okay, I managed trick-or-treating with... So we gotta get to... I've waited so long for this. Oh, I'm gonna do something. So do you guys remember a couple of, it was some of the earliest prompts we did, going all the way back to the blue box that made noise, the town in quarantine for 20 years, the alien bus. Those were all from a friend of mine. And in high school, he had an idea for a story about an imaginary friend, and I am going to take that imaginary friend's name for this story. Just throwing that out there. He was very... Okay. Let's see. Oh, fuck. What are they dressed as? We're gonna... Halloween... Father-son costume. Yeah, but like Daredevil and what? Because I mean, the first thing that I thought of was fucking Artorias and the Great Wolf Sif, but I don't know many kids that are massive Dark Souls fans. Okay. I'm just Googling it. Let's see, we've got Hagrid and Harry, but J.K. Rowling's a fucking TERF, so no. Batman and Robin? Oh, Darth Vader and Luke, that's cool. Batman and Robin and Darth Vader and Luke are not... They're kind of in the... I mean, you know. I like that, though. Now I get to choose. Do I go with my love of movies or my love of comics? Oh no, my chair. Just don't know what I'm gonna choose. What am I gonna choose, guys? I just... You know, I could go so many different directions. There we go. I mean... Okay, alright, I'll stop. Anyways, this is what you get. This year they were just Darth Vader and Luke is so good. I think I'm gonna go with Batman and Robin, though. And I'm sorry, don't be mad at me. So this is the thing about chat that I haven't quite figured out. The emojis are so fucking small, I can't tell what they are half the time. So I don't know how Scarlet Fury is reacting to this. Okay. So, for those still floating around, I hope you're awake. Come back. Ah! Okay. Hope I didn't startle anybody. I don't have like a fade in effect for my voice. Okay. All right. All right. I tried to go a little spoopy. I don't with this format I don't always have a lot of time to establish atmosphere. So we'll see what happens. This is definitely one of those stories that if I could write more, I feel like I could do a lot more with the tone, but as is, fuck it, let's see what we got. Halloween had always been Scott's favorite holiday, and now that he was a father, he relished every year he got to share that love with his son. He spent hours sewing and crafting homemade costumes superior to any that his son Jake grew wide-eyed over at the department store. This year, they were dressed as Batman and Robin, Tim Drake specifically. Jake was too thoughtful and introspective to be Damien. They cut quite a figure, if you ask Scott. Remy Roberts thought so too. Holy shit. Scott stopped dead in his tracks to stare at the ghostly visage ahead of them. Remy looked just as Scott remembered, his side-swept hair dyed black as night and skin pale as moonlight. We're not going to give imaginary friend too much credit here. He grinned as he always did when he knew a secret, which had never been right. Imaginary friends didn't keep secrets. Imaginary friends weren't real. The figure before him was undeniably both real and Remy Roberts at the same time. Scott tore his eyes away and forced himself to look down at Jake, who was staring at his bucket of candy. You see him too? Scott nodded at his son, too dumbfounded to speak. I've seen him for a while. Not as long as Whittle has been around, but a while, he was whispering. Cold tingles crept up Scott's spine as he listened to his son speak. Whittle was Jake's imaginary friend. He and Margaret hadn't thought anything of it. After all, when Scott was his age. You've been seeing Remy Roberts? Jake nodded, still not looking up, still ignoring the form ahead of him. Watching them, smiling at them. Scott resisted the urge to run. This couldn't be real. It had to be a nightmare. He's mad at you. He says you abandoned him. He says you left him behind. Jake wasn't whispering now, and Remy Roberts nodded along to his words. Jake looked up at Scott, his eyes pleading. Whittle protects me, but Remy Roberts is getting stronger. Dad, I don't know what he's going to do. Dad? What are we going to do? Dad? All right. And there we go. So, anyone still floating around? What'd you think? How'd that turn out? Pretty okay with that one. Again, it's one of those stories I'm like, ooh, there's something here. I kind of want to see what happens after this, but yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I demand a sequel. Well, I'm glad you liked it. I dig the endings on these. I do too. It's kind of nice because I am, with my novels, I tend to be very, gosh, what's the word? Neurotic. I have to plan things out. I have to have an ending in mind before I start, but honestly with these, it's almost better if I don't really have an ending in mind because, you know, I'm making up so much of it on the spot that having an ending would almost get in the way of just, you know, you have one page to get familiar with the prompt and kind of get it on its feet, and then you've got to, you know, whatever you have to put a button on or put it, you know, find an ending to. So, you know, I feel like if I started with an ending in mind and was like trying to work toward it, I don't think it would work as well. And even with the novels I write, I try to leave the ending a little bit open to interpretation, just so that when I get to the ending, I still have that room to maneuver within the idea that I already had. So, let's see, we're going to pop over to the blog. We're going to see, there it is. Although I did the thing I did. I forgot to write prompt. Okay. So it should be there now. I don't think it's necessarily important that I put prompt. Like, you should be able to figure it out on your own, but if not, you know, I've worked in a bookshop for over 3 years, and the amount of times people have stared at a shelf for a non-zero amount of time, and then turned to me and gone, "Are these alphabetized?" It's like, well, there's a way you can find out, and you were already doing it, but fuck me, I guess. So, alright. I'm happy with today. Today took a little bit of time. I was in a talky mood. We had quite a few people. This is the longest stream I've done by far. But I think the stories turned out really well. I'm really happy with them. And we had a lot of fun in the chat, I thought. So, I'm going to continue. I'm going to try and get like a poll up and running. And, you know, where you guys can vote on stories that you'd like to see a sequel to. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do that. But until then, yeah, I think I'm just gonna... It's been a long stream. I appreciate all the time you guys have given me. I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna end the stream. How about that, Shakespeare? You dig the endings on these, but do you dig the endings of the stream? Oh man, today was a lot of fun, guys. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow, same time, 2:30 my time, which is Utah time. And oh, fuck you, Grammarly. All right. Only if it ends mid-sentence. That's not how you spell sentence. Anyways, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to write. Oh, by the way, Shakespeare,